I walked in with a pocket full of evenings and a coat still warm with rain. Boot heels talking to the floorboards like they knew my kind of pain. There's a neon horse in the window, pawing thunder in the glass, and the barkeep wipes the counter like he's polishing the past. She's there by the jukebox chrome, counting quarters like rosary beads. Black hat tilted like a question, eyes that understood my needs. She said, honey, songs are cheaper than forgiving who we are. Drop $2 in this temple, hear redemption from a guitar.
I fed the slot my change in faith, divine own call for prayer. Fiddle whipped across the sawdust like guitar split the air. The singer drawed up second chances on a road that had no end, and the drums like tired horses keeping time for one more bend.
She laughed like wind on prairie grass, soft but everywhere. Said, dance me through your troubles if you've got the feet to care.
I offered up my clumsy truths, scuffed boots and borrowed charm. She took my hand like Saturday and led me from the harm.
$2 jukebox heart, play me something brave. Spin my rusty silver, pull my soul up from the grave. Let the fiddle find my pulse and let the steel guitar impart a little mercy in the tumbling of this $2 jukebox heart. Turn the dial to forgiveness, set the needle where we start. I'll pay in quarters for another try. $2 jukebox heart. We waltzed around the bar stool moons under constellations of smoke. Every chorus lit a lantern in the places sorrow broke. I told her I'd been running since the summer of life, when a girl in boots and Sunday lace let a promise turn to dry.
She nodded like a highway sign you pass but never read, as if the past was just a mileage mark and we were driving on instead. Her perfume was a porch swing, her laughter lemonade, in the thicket of my memory where the better choices fade.
The jukebox shuffled miracles, oh, pour sins like rain. The drummer tapped a heartbeat that was nearly mine again. She said her name was Caroline, but call me Line for short, 'cause she crossed a few in Texas and she dances from the court.
We toasted to the could-have-beens, the never were, the might, to every late redemption that can stumble in tonight. The bartender rinsed our glasses with a grin that knew the plot. Said, I've seen stranger resurrections from the songs you two just bought.
$2 jukebox heart, play me something brave. Spin my rust to silver, pull my soul up from the grave. Let the fiddle find my pulse and let the steel guitar impart a little mercy in the tumbling of this $2 jukebox heart. She whispered, nobody's perfect, honey, just keep the rhythm true. So I offered up a busted life and she offered up her too.
2 minutes, 2 songs, $2, little things can resurrect. If the jukebox has a light left and the soul has some respect.
$2 jukebox hard, play me something brave. Turn this cheap salvation louder till we drown the ache we gave. Let the drummer keep us steady, let the singer do his part, while the slide guitar draws halos round this bargain basement heart. If love is paid in quarters, we can buy a brand new start on a barroom floor in neon grays. $2 jukebox hard.
I've been riding with a thundercloud packed tight behind my eyes. Dusty miles of bad decisions underneath these western skies. Got a saddlebag of sins stitched with names I won't repeat. Every buckle is a promise that I left along the street. The sheriff knows my shadow like a trail I can't outrun, but the good Lord knows I'm trying to unspool what I've done. There's a chapel made of cottonwoods that leans beside the creek, and I swear I hear it whisper when the wind gets low and meek. I stole a kiss in Amarillo that belonged to better men. I left a tab in San Antone that won't be paid again. Played a hand in Abilene with cards I shouldn't hold, and I tipped my hat to honesty, then traded her for gold. But the hunger of the highway ain't a stomach, ain't a bone. It's the need to find a lantern that will guide the lost back home. My Palomino knows my faults, still she carries me like prayer, and I hope the grace she shows me is a grace that I can wear. Saddlebag of sins, heavy as a thunderhead. I keep hauling what I should have laid to rest instead. If there's mercy in the morning or a crosswind that forgives, I'll drop these stones beside the road and learn a kinder way to live. Saddlebag of sins, creaking where the leather bends. Let me trade you for a hallelujah that begins and never ends. I met a girl in Lubbock with a psalm upon her tongue. Said you don't need a gallows if your soul's already hung. She poured my coffee black as night with sugar like a hymn, and I tasted something hopeful in the rim that met the rim. She said everybody's broken, there's a fracture in us all, but I've seen saints in sawdust when they answered one soft call. So I saddled up at sunrise with her blessing packed inside, and the wind spelled out confession in the banners of my ride. I passed the place in Wichita where I once turned back a friend, watched his taillights fade to nowhere, thought we'd circle back again. Years went thin as pony ribs, but the guilt stayed thick and wide, and the road kept tolling memories like fences I can't stride. So I stopped beside a milepost where the prairie meets the blue, took the bag down from the leather like a man knows what to do. Outspilled letters, lonesome tokens, all the sorrows I had earned, and the sunlight burned them honest till the edges curled and turned. Saddlebag of sins, heavy as a thunderhead, I keep hauling what I should have laid to rest instead. If there's mercy in the morning or a crosswind that forgives, I'll drop these stores beside the road and learn a kinder way to live. Saddlebag of sins, creaking where the leather bends, let me trade you for a hallelujah that begins and never ends. Now the Palomino's breathing like a choir after rain, and the sky is pulling curtains back to show a gentler plain. I can hear a distant fiddle where the cottonwoods begin, playing one long benediction for a rider shedding sin. If the sheriff finds me lighter, he might tip his brim and say, boy, you look like Sunday morning, you can ride along this way. And if Lubbock needs a thank you, I will write it with my miles. Every hoofbeat sign forgiven, every sunrise paid in smiles. Saddlebag of sins, empty as a newborn sky, let the leather find its breathing, let the weighted last untie. If there's mercy in the evening, I will meet it hat in hand, with a heart that's fit for keeping and a soul that understands. Saddlebag of sins, leave you where the river bends, I'll ride out in a hymn of dust that rises, never ends. Wind out on the Panhandle writes letters through the wire, and every fence post answers like a brittle twanging choir. Your name is in that chorus, and it lifts the prairie dust like a stamp across my rib cage where the mail is marked in trust. I left you at a diner with a coffee going cold, said I'd chase a better paycheck on a rig that smelled of old. You folded up a napkin with a lipstick map of home, said mail me back your promise when your boots are done to roam. Weeks turned into weather, I could measure them by storms. I learned to pray to pipelines and to curse at office forms. On payday I would study all the numbers on the sheet, but I never found an entry for the ache that took my seat. The foreman had a radio that bled the Opry clean, and the steel guitar kept telling me the truth I hadn't seen. So I bought a cheap postcard with a sunset's painted grin. Wrote, "I'll be home by Sunday, love, please let my keys back in." Panhandle postcard, smudged by diesel, stamped by time. Carry all my sorries in your little dotted lines. Let the tumbleweeds be couriers, let the mailbox be a start. Panhandle postcard, find the pathway to her heart. If a picture's worth 1,000 words, let mine be I was blind, till your sunset taught my sunrise how to love her right this time. The clerk behind the counter said they still send these, you know. I said some promises move slower where the real good grasses grow. He nodded like a windmill, patient as a prairie saint. Said the shortest road to honest is the one without the paint. So I licked the stamp in memory, pressed them both against the edge. Heard a larkspur hymn of mornings when we shared a coffee pledge. The mailbox was a saddle for 1,000 lonely notes, every letter like a cattle brand that sears before it floats. I drove the county back roads where the cotton bales stack high. Found the house with porchlight bravery against a thunder sky. You were sitting on the steps with that postcard in your palm, reading every shaky letter like a psalm that answers song. You didn't stand or scold me, you just patted wood beside. And the crickets made a meeting where our silences abide. I'm not good at guarantees, I said, but I can do tonight. You said tonight's a seed, my love, let's plant it bold and right. Panhandle postcard, smudged by diesel, stamped by time. Carry all my sorries in your little dotted lines. Let the tumbleweeds be couriers, let the mailbox be a start. Panhandle postcard, find the pathway to her heart. If a picture's worth 1,000 words, let mine be I was blind, till your sunset taught my sunrise how to love her right this time. Now the wind still writes its letters, but I've learned to read them slow. There's a grammar to the wheat fields and a syntax in the crow. There's a verb that means come closer, and a noun that spells forgive, and an adjective for faithful, that's the roof under we live. I'll buy a frame for that postcard, hang it where the morning shines, so the rigging of our past life can unwind its tangled lines. If I ever stray to numbers, to the ledger, to the code, I'll let that sunset sentence me to stories we foretold. Panhandle postcard, smudged by diesel, stamped by grace. Carry us from lonely miles to this front porch, sacred place. Let the steel guitar keep singing while the coffee warms our hands, and the fiddles tie a ribbon on these second chance demands. If a picture's worth 1,000 words, let ours say we are home. with a Panhandle postcard nailed in place. We'll never have to roam. I checked in with a suitcase of thunder and a shirt that smelled like rain. Front desk light was flickering like it knew my kind of pain. There's a Gideon in the drawer and a pamphlet by the phone. Free breakfast pool at 7, like salvation on a loan. Your picture's in my wallet, creased like county gravel roads. I've been hauling every silence like a wagon stacked with oats. I told the clerk I'd stay one night, maybe learn a softer truth. But the moon above the truck stop swore I'd owe a second roof. Down the hall a TV preacher spoke of vows and second chances, while a couple argued fate and whispered firefly romances. I set a little brass key on the bedspread's floral field, then opened up that Motel Bible like a farmer works his yield. Pages crackle like a campfire, words that glow and then grow dim. I could hear your name between them like a cedar hymn to him. And hidden in my pocket sat that ring I'd meant to buy, but I borrowed one from memory, cheap and plain and not a lie. Motel Bible and a borrowed ring. I'm asking for a dawn that doesn't burn with everything. If a lamp can light the prodigal back to where he came, let this key and trembling prayer reopen love in both our names. I'm down to quarters, and the faith of him can bring Motel Bible and a borrowed ring. The ice machine was thunder, kept on growling down the hall. I traced a circle on the nightstand where my hope began to stall. I saw your eyes in scripture, I saw my faults in red. Words about forgiving streamed like headlights through my head. A diesel lullaby outside, a siren far away. I held that ring up to the lamp as if it knew the way. The metal made a tiny moon that hovered in the room, a promise half remembered, stitching tulips into gloom. I thought of when we stood beneath a fairground August sky. The Ferris wheel rode halos and your laugh taught me to try. But I ran like broken levees, spilled their secrets to a flood. Left you with a future, left myself with only mud. Tonight the sheets feel penitence, the carpet holds a prayer, and that Bible lets a backslider sit down in Grace's chair. I pictured knocking on your door with honesty to bring, no bouquet but confession, just a heart and borrowed ring. Motel Bible and a borrowed ring. I'm asking for a dawn that doesn't burn with everything. If a lamp can light the prodigal back to where he came. Let this key and trembling prairie open, love in both our names. I'm down to quarters, and the faith of him can bring Motel, Bible, and a borrowed ring. Morning has a mercy that the midnight rarely shows. Coffee in a styrofoam can warm up what it knows. I underlined a verse or two, I folded down a page, wrote your name beside a promise, like a witness on a stage. If I walk out to the truck and point the hood toward home, will you hear the tires pleading on the gravel where I roam? I'll trade my pride for Porchlight, trade excuses for the truth. I'll meet you in our kitchen with a vow that wears no sleuth. Motel, Bible, and a borrowed ring. I'm stepping out of shadows into what tomorrow brings. If forgiveness has a number, darling, please just let it ring. I'll answer with forever in this simple borrowed ring. Let the clerk keep my deposit, I've got richer things to sing. Motel, Bible, and a borrowed ring.
There's a glow at our old doorway that refuses to give in, like a lighthouse for a ranch hand stumbling home from weathered sin. You change the bulb to daylight, but it always turns to dusk. Maybe houses learn our secrets and they hold them out of trust. I left one October evening with the harvest still half done. Told myself a city paycheck shone a different kind of sun. But the sirens and the concrete told a colder kind of truth. And I found my name was foreign when it wasn't said by you. The porch swing keeps a rhythm, creaking inside a guilty waltz, where you'd read the mail at twilight, counting blessings, counting faults. The dog still sleeps beside it, one ear up for gravel sound, waiting for the tire's confession when a runaway is found. I drove through two-state darkness, every station played our song, fiddle carving out a compass, pedal steel to point me home. I practiced my confession in the windshield's lonely glass, fog road trying building honest in a language built to last. Porchlight keeps burning blue, like the sky when prayers break through. If forgiveness is a doorway, let me knock and lean on you. 'Cause the porch light, love keeps burning blue. I'll take the blame, I'll pay the due. Just let me stand in that forgiving hue.
porch light keeps burning blue. Neighbor said you painted, patched the fence and mended rails, saw the jars of summer peaches, labeled lids with tidy tails. You sent a Christmas postcard with a snowman in a hat, wrote hope you're well and warm, and signed it simply like that. I read it in a one-room place above a laundromat, where the hum of tumbling sorrows kept me company at that. Tonight the crickets advocate for second chances, clear and true, and the maples sketch a welcome like the door already knew. I pull into the driveway smooth as mercy slow as dawn, kill the engine's worried heartbeat, hear the whole night lean and yawn. You open up the screen with neither thunderclap nor sigh, just a quiet, steady weather like the patience of the sky. I'm late, I say you're here, you say, and in those syllables the worst of me gets gentle, like a horse that finally stills. I hand you what I've found, a man who knows the cost of pride, and you hand back a mug of tea, say come in, warm up inside. Porch light keeps burning blue, like the sky when prayers break through. If forgiveness is a doorway, let me knock and lean on you. 'Cause the porch light, love keeps burning blue. I'll take the blame, I'll pay the due. Just let me stand in that forgiving hue. Porch light keeps burning blue. Blue for the miles I wandered, blue for the lies I squandered, blue like the denim truth that holds when fancy seams go torn, blue for the winter's warning, blue for the summer's morning, blue like a promise softened by the work of being worn. If our porch can hold the weight of years and weather, we can too. Let the night repaint our story in that steady, faithful blue. Porch light keeps burning blue, and I'm not afraid to tell the truth. If a home is made of mercy, then our walls are telling you this heart was lost but made it through. I'll kiss your hands, I'll start anew, under the glow that saw us through. Porch light keeps burning blue. There's a break in the pasture fence where the county road runs thin. Iron bars across the trench to keep the roaming cattle in. I stop there every Sunday, let the motor hum to rest, 'cause my faith comes in the open where the high grass does its best. I talk to God through locusts, through a lark surprise refrain, through a wind that smells like cedar and a thunder thinking rain. Cattle guard his hymnal lines, a staff of steel and sky, and my words walk out like hoofbeats till the shame begins to fly. Mama used to say, confessing's just a gate you have to cross, but pride turns into barbed wire when you can't admit the loss. I gambled with the harvest, tried to buy a brighter spring, put our savings had dissolved like tin can ring. I told my brother, trust me, and he signed without a pause. Now his laughter's grown a limb from that mistake that I made. Cause I've been carrying the ledger like a brand in iron's mark. But right here where road meets open, I can listen through the dark. Cattle guard confessional, lay my rattling bones to rest. Let the prairie be the witness and the wind decide the test. If forgiveness needs a crossing, Lord, I'm here with dusty hands at the cattle guard confessional, where the soul learns where it stands. Count the bars like penitent song. Let the meadow sing me calm. Cattle guard confessional. I'm done with running wrong. I remember when we fixed it, me and Dad in summer heat. He taught me how to line the rails and square them neat to neat. Said a good gate tells a story of the pasture that he keeps, and a man is like a fence, what he guards is what he reaps. I laughed at old-time wisdom, thought my cleverness was gold. The clever can't mend winter when the calves are shivering cold. Now the pickup cab's a chapel, dashboard, Bible, coffee, sins. And the only choir I trust is how the baritone wind begins. I call my brother Friday night, voice like gravel, words like wire. Said I'd sell the rope and saddle, sell the trailer, sell my tires. Said I'd square the ledger proper, pen by pen and brand by brand. Said I'd show up at his corral with apology in hand. He went quiet long enough to count a herd that's gone astray. Then he sighed, I've been waiting for a sentence built this way. He didn't bless me easy, he just let my promise stand. Said we'll work it come tomorrow, two hands mend a busted land. Cattle guard confessional, lay my rattling bones to rest. Let the prairie be the witness and the wind decide the test. If forgiveness needs a crossing, Lord, I'm here with dusty hands at the cattle guard confessional, where the soul learns where it stands. Count the bars like penitent song. Let the meadow sing me calm. Cattle guard confessional. I'm done with running wrong. Morning finds the bluebirds posting headlines on the wire. Do writes footnotes on the grass to every vow we will require. I drive out with a toolkit and a ledger turned to clean. Hammer honesty to fence post where the slack had grown between. We tighten up the corners, we replace the twisted ties. Brothers quiet like a sunrise that forgives without disguise. And when the noon comes burning like an altar held to skin, we drink water out of mason jars and let the future in. Cattle guard confessional, I crossed it like a man, left my pride inside the ditch and brought a helping plan. If redemption is a ranch road you maintain until you die, then hand me nails and cedar rails and keep the meadow wide. Cattle guard confessional, hear the hoofbeats of our song. Two brothers mending fences, setting every post up strong. Let the bars keep rhythm true, steel and sunlight, sky and blue. Cattle guard confessional. There's a record on the player with a label cracked and torn. It's a song we danced to once, the night our vows were worn. The dust makes halos in the sunlight, like the ghosts of better years. And I still hear your laughter playing softly through the tears. The house smells like cedar, and the porch creaks when it rains. I still keep your gown in the closet with a rose that still remains. Your ring sits in a teacup, and I dust it now and then, like a preacher dusts his Bible, though he'll never preach again. There's a scratch in verse 2 where you used to hum along, and it skips just where the fiddles rise to bless the lover's song. You'd whisper, darling, slower, when I twirled too rough or fast, and the room would blur like heaven where we swore our love would last. Now the waltz is just a ticking of a clock that lost its face, but it beats in triple time like a memory can't erase. The old dog lifts his head each time the needle sighs. He still waits for you at evening where the sun falls down and dies. Dusty vinyl wedding waltz, play that song again. Spin our vows like autumn leaves, round and back again. If time's a turntable of love, then let it never halt. Keep us moving slow forever in this dusty vinyl waltz. I took the player to the pawn shop once, thought I traded for my pain, but the man just shook his head and said, son, love's a holy stain. So I brought it back and cleaned it with the care we once had known, and the music made the silence sound like something not alone. The neighbors sometimes hear it through the screen when night gets still. They say it sounds like longing, but I say it's just will. You can't bury what was honest, though the dust might make it seem like the world forgot to waltz in 3 and traded love for dream. Now every year in April when the lilacs start to call, I dress in that old Sunday suit and dance along the wall. The record crackles mercy, the steel guitar bends grace, and though I'm leading no one now, I still feel your embrace. The turntable hums forgiveness, the past hums sweet and raw, and I bow to where you'd curtsy, habit more than law. Dusty vinyl wedding waltz, play that song again. Spin our vows like autumn leaves, round and back again. If time's a turntable of love, then let it never halt. Keep us moving slow forever in this dusty vinyl waltz. And when my heart stops spinning, when the record finds its rest, I hope you're there to flip the side and play the one that's best. We'll dance where sound is endless, where no scratches ever stall. And heaven's band will take requests from love's old sacred hall. Dusty vinyl wedding waltz, one last round of sound. Let let the needle trace our story where the faith was lost and found. If forever's just a rhythm and goodbye's just a halt, and keep us turning endlessly our dusty vinyl wall. Caught a storm one summer evening in a jar beneath the pines. Just me, the fireflies, and a porch soaked in wine. You said you can't keep wild things, honey, they'll find a way to run. But I sealed that lid with a kiss, just to hold what can't be done. We laughed till thunder rolled our names across the hayfield wide. The horses snorted rhythm to the rain we tried to hide. Your hair stuck to your shoulders like the willow bends to wind, and I swore I'd guard that lightning till the world would start again. Lightning in a mason jar, that's what love has always been. A spark too bright to bottle, a storm beneath the skin. You can hold it for a heartbeat, but you'll never cage the star. Love's the flash between the moments, lightning in a mason jar. Years went rolling rough and golden, like the thunder's borrowed tune. We built a house from fence rails, and we filled it far too soon. Then life came in with edges, cut the laughter into two. I worked too much, you waited long, till stillness felt like glue. The jar sat on the mantle, light long gone, but shape still clear. Dusty symbol of the magic we once held so near. You said one night the hardest part of love that's true and real is learning when to open up the jar and let it heal. I watched you pack the station wagon, silver rings in hand. The porch light made your shadow stretch across the leaving land. You said, I'll take my half of thunder, you keep what you can find. I said, you left me lightning, love, it's branded on my mind. Lightning in a mason jar, that's what love has always been. A spark too bright to bottle, a storm beneath the skin. You can hold it for a heartbeat, but you'll never cage the star. Love's the flash between the moments, lightning in a mason jar. Now the porch is older and the sky don't weep as loud, but when I see those summer storms, I whisper to the clouds. I unscrew that old glass lid and set it on the sill, hoping that the night might find a way to light it still. If love's a storm that fades too soon, I'd rather chase the scar than live my life without that spark of lightning in a jar. Lightning in a mason jar, flicker, hum and fade. The glow may dim, but I still bless the spark that we both made. You can't trap what's wild, just thank it where you are. Love the flash that leaves a mark, lightning in a mason jar. Sheriff called me Sunday with my boots still wet with sin. Said, son, you've been on someone's land and they're tired of letting you in. But it wasn't theft or trouble, just your driveway in the rain, where forgiveness took a detour and desire boarded the train. We've been sneaking across that border where the cotton meets the wheat. 2 counties, 2 old stories, one love we shouldn't keep. Your daddy owns a feed store, mine the bar just down the road, and the feud's been older, colder than the whiskey we both owe. We met where gravel turns to dust, where fences bend to hide. You'd bring the sweet tea, I'd bring songs that always lied. You'd say but someday never came, and the rumors start to gallop faster than the truth can name. Last night we kissed beneath the cross of 2 dirt roads gone dry. Now the sheriff's got my number and your pa won't meet my eye. County line alibi, we were just young fools under the sky. 2 hearts where the border lied and the truth got stuck between goodbye. Every kiss we shared was contraband, but heaven heard and took our side. County line alibi. I can still taste your laughter when the night got small and shy, and the train horn from Amarillo sang our lullaby. You said your love's against the law, then baby make me bleed. And we carved our names in cedar where the world forgot to read. Now there's caution tape on your side and deputies on mine. They say, boy, love ain't reason, love's just crossing out the line. But I swear each mile markers still got our fingerprints, and the ditches bloom with daisies where we once made innocence. Oh, county line alibi, we were just young fools under the sky. 2 hearts where the border lied and the truth got stuck between goodbye. Every kiss we shared was contraband, but heaven heard and took our side. County line alibi. Maybe one day the fence will rust and they'll see what we call trust. Maybe one night under God's same dome they'll say those kids just found a home. Till then I'll wait by the marker stone where your footprints meet my own. County line alibi, still the stars don't testify. We were just truth too wild to tie, caught between wrong and reason why. If they ask where my heart might lie, tell them right where yours will try. Our county line alibi.
The preacher's voice is crackling through a worn-out AM hum, and my truck cab feels cathedral with the dashboard beating drum. The signal fades on verses when the wind cuts through the corn, but the gospel in the static sounds like grace that's weather-worn. You used to ride beside me with your coffee and your laugh, pointing out the clouds and saying that one shaped like half a heart, half a dream, half a prayer we'd never say. But somehow every Sunday static washed the doubt away. Now the station drifts to static where your silence fills the space, and I twist the dial to mercy just to hear your kind of grace. The preacher says forgive and live through fading frequency, and I hum along in key with all that's gone and left of me. Static on the Sunday radio, preacher fades but I still know, between the noise and halo glow, I hear the faith we used to show, lost the tune but caught the soul. Static on the Sunday radio. It's been a year since you drove off toward your mama's place in May. Said you needed open skies, said I needed time to pray. The dog still perks his ears up when that gospel hour begins. He remembers how you'd whistle through the sermon's softer hymns. The cornfields bow like deacons when the thunder rolls its plea, and I swear I see your hand reach through the static back to me. Sometimes I catch a voice that sounds like yours in fading tone, saying love don't need good signal, just a heart that stays alone. Static on the Sunday radio, preacher fades but I still know, between the noise and halo glow, I hear the faith we used to show, lost the tune but caught the soul. Static on the Sunday radio. I drive the back road slow enough to keep the sermon near, windows down, wind's gospel sings, she's closer than you fear. And when the clouds break open wide, I catch that holy sign that maybe what we lost ain't gone, just stuck between the lines. Static on the Sunday radio, fading now but soft and low. If heaven's got a frequency, then darling, that's where you'll be. The static hums and I let go, in the song I still replay and know. Static on the Sunday radio.